Greetings and welcome back to another episode of 1320 Time Stream. I am Elia Eternal. Here we're going to be covering the second last day, or the 12th day of the Blue Night Wave Spell, which is going to be the Crystal Wizard. Okay, let's get into some information here quickly. Alright, Crystal Wizard. A day that the round table meets. So let's get into our breath really quickly here. And that breath is going to be in our left knee and our left baby finger, breathing outward. Left knee, left baby finger. Let's crystallize some of today's energy in this way. Okay, a couple good breaths there. So, crystal tone, it's that energy of coming together. All of the little units have come together as a single thing. Not unlike the magnetic tone, but different. Because this is like the crystallization of something, very much like a crystal, represents the property of manifestation that has like come through all the different geological kind of stages. Like if you look at a crystal and how it's actually built, it takes quite a while for it to actually be built. And so there's this geometry and it takes quite a while for it to form on that. And the point of crystallization is almost like the completeness of its growth cycle. And so crystallization, like tomorrow, the cosmic tone is like the final essence, and then we return. It's also known as magnetic return. And so in some way, today is actually the real end of the wave spell. It's the time when all the energy of the wave spell, in this case the night, culminates and comes together as like a singular function. Usually also represented by the crystal days, a crystal meeting, which is supported by the Pan Nodes. Pan Nodes are a group of people all over the world, 7 or more members who get together and meet every 13 days on the crystal day. And there's a bunch of meditations and other stuff that they do. So the energy of the crystal tone is really all about that coming together. It's all about group. You know, it's your galactic potluck kind of thing. Now, when we bring the wizard energy in here, if we go back again to the moon day and we have that pure emotion, then we come into the embodiment of emotion as the electromagnetic telepathic kind of frequency discharge in the mammalian plane. And then we come to the monkey and we still have that. We enter a little bit more mind. And then we come into the human and we have yet more mind, and it's about influence and wisdom. And then we have yesterday, which is the Skywalker, which is kind of like the ascension of the human to the wizard. So it's an initiation cycle. And then today, which is the wizard, represents very appropriately, because that natural progression from human to wizard is in fact a crystallization. It is a releasing of all that which doesn't need to be there. It's that Padawan becoming the Jedi. And so the wizard, you could take a look at it as the Jedi itself. The human could be like the Padawan, or the Skywalker actually could be like the Padawan, and the wizard could be the Jedi. None of these terms really matter, but, you know, maybe it's like, you know, monk or disciple and, you know, great wizard or whatever, right? These are just the different ways that we've compartmentalized our own knowledge to create different levels of value based upon learning and like leveling up kind of energy. And so in some way, this is representing the same thing. And so the wizard here, timelessness, enchantment, there's an intelligence to the wizard. There's a advanced knowledge, an advanced way, an advanced practice that's being crystallized today. It's all coming together, and it's kind of perfected. Like, it's like what we're saying. It's like if we take the planetary tone of perfection and then we actually trim off those last little bits, it becomes crystallization. So you could say crystallization is actually more than just perfection. It is crystallized. And so one can imagine, how could there be more than perfection? Well, in many ways, there is. Because I also feel that crystallization represents sustainability. And so something that is perfected may only be perfected for that particular frame, that particular instance, while the crystallization is now with you, kind of thing. It's crystallized. And so whatever that knowledge, that ability, that embodiment is, because that's the next thing here, that like the monkey starts to play with embodiment, the human embodies, and then the wizard is like a very specific type of embodiment. And the wizard helps us really crystallize, almost like coming out of our chrysalis. In some way, it could be going into our chrysalis, in some way, it could be coming out. That's really up to you to decide how this energy is showing up for you and how it's relevant, kind of thing. But it's also on our way to the higher mind, which is tomorrow. And this kind of ends that cycle. Other than ending the night wavespell cycle, it also ends the cycle of kind of like from moon to eagle. See, ones where like the warrior and up to the sun, they're much more abstract. These ones from moon to eagle are all different stage of embodiment, and only really the moon and the Skywalker are really abstract. One is the energy of initiation, and one is kind of like the very essence of emotion, kind of thing. And so they're helping those next things really define themselves, those next stages of embodiment. And so one is like the emotional embodiment, getting into the mental embodiment, and the next one and the next phase is about kind of like really refining that mental and spiritual embodiment. It's where the emotional embodiment then touches the mental embodiment and becomes kind of like the spiritual embodiment. You could say that the wizard is also like the monk, things like that. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. We're in that phase right now of crystallizing our enchantment, our sorcery, our wizardliness, our earth lizardness, our healerness, our speciality, our knowledge, our skill set. However we want to see that. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you here and stay tuned for the affirmation.